Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Speak to Impress. I'm Kavita and we have got Abhayraj with us who qualified NDA in very first attempt, unfortunately got conferenced out, but in very second attempt he buckled up and got recommended. So let's know his journey and its struggles throughout. First of all, I would like to welcome you Abhayraj. Thank you
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
making
It's an
time.
honor.
Thank you.
No
Alright,
issue, ma'am.
okay. Alright, so Abhay, I would like to know first time you got conferenced out, what were the areas where you were lacking? And then after getting conferenced out, how did you improve your mistakes and got recommended in the second attempt itself?
So, starting with my first attempt, one of the main reasons that I got confidence out in that particular attempt was overconfidence. Because that was there somewhere inside me that I will go unprepared and I will make it through. So, after my first attempt, I realized that no, however confident you are, however, whatever background you have to practice and you have to be good at whatever you are doing. Only then you will make it through SSB. So, for the next
Alright.
attempt, I practiced a lot. I did a lot of GDs with my friends. I participated in lecture topics as well. I read newspapers, and I also
Okay.
worked upon myself, like my what are my strengths and weaknesses. And also, I for that particular attempt, I also attended a coaching AFPA, that is in Nagpur, where I got further guidance about what I need to do. And that is the reason that I made it through in my second attempt.
Okay, amazing. And how are you feeling now from an aspirant to finally a recommended person? How are you feeling?
So I would say the feeling is obviously great because since a young age I have always dreamt of being in the defense forces, and at
Yeah.
last I have made it through. So the feeling is great. Somewhere it is a bit diminished due to being uncertainty in the medicals, but I think that if you have achieved something, then it is your right to enjoy the feeling at least, whatever might be the result. So I'm feeling really great right now.
Amazing. No issues. You'll make it in medicals as well. Don't you worry. And I would like to know your first day. How was it?
So starting with the screening, we had our OIR test that went really well for me. I had practiced a lot of OIR sets, so it went pretty well. Then I we started with our PPDT. So the picture was a simple picture. There was nothing much to do about it. So we wrote a normal story, and then
Hmm.
our GD started. In the GD also, I just focused on what I have. First, I focused a lot on my narration, like other people were talking and all. I was just reciting my story in my head continuously so that I don't forget
But
anything.
during the
I just,
break.
yes, because we are given 10 to 15 minutes, everyone is given before
Yes.
the narration starts. So at
Hmm.
that time, I was revising the story again and again, and then my narration went. So obviously, I had a good impact on the group. They thought that yeah, his narration is well, so he
Yes.
will participate well in GD as well. So I participated in GD, and one of the things that I tried in GD was to take the group forward. Like I would add a
Yeah.
new point every time I got a chance,
Hmm.
not repeating any old point.
All
That
right.
helped me a
That.
lot. And
Yes.
then another important thing that helped me a lot in screening was that our group was divided into two halves. So I was in the second half. After the first group had completed the discussion, the first point I stated was that, gentlemen, the other group have already come on a common conclusion. So we should take
Hmm.
their common conclusion and we should move forward with that as our common story. So
All
that
right.
somewhere added a plus point in my GD.
All right. Abhay, I would also like to know the importance of OIR because I have seen so many candidates do not prepare for OIR. They take it for granted. They feel that it is not even checked. Then this is the mindset of many aspirants. What do you think about it?
So first thing about OIR not being checked, that is a very big myth. OIR are checked at every SSB you go, and OIR
Yeah.
is actually very important. Like there are things like if you have OIR rating 1, then there are a lot higher chances of you getting screened in. Even though you a little bit mess up in your second half of the screening test, you will still get screened in. But if your OIR rating is low or it is 4 or 5, then you have to perform exceptionally well in your
Yeah.
screening test, other screening
Hmm.
tests. So OIR is important, and practice for OIR is also very important. What many students do is that they just go light-handedly, like OIR भी तो है, क्या होगा, कर लेंगे solve जितना
Yeah.
होगा. Speed matters a lot in OIR, so
Yes.
practice at least 5 6 sets so you are aware what you have to do and what should be your speed in solving the particular questions.
All right. Though questions are easy, but you have to be really speedy in calculations and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now moving to day two. How was your psych? How did you perform? Did you complete all the VAT, SRTs and TAT?
So speaking about psych in Air Force Board, psych test happens in the evening itself. So
Okay.
after our screening was done, we had a break of
Hmm.
2-3 hours. After that, we had our psychology test. So again, a tip for Air Force Board students that take a small nap or take a bath or something before your psych test. It will freshen up. It will like
Yeah.
lighten up your mind a bit because you have gone through a hectic screening process. And
Yes.
Air Force Board, the reporting was also pretty high. So the process is a bit hectic, and so you should take something like that. Many students, what they do, just start mugging up things that they have written from their home before the psych
Yes.
test.
Yes.
That
Yes.
somewhere stress them a little bit, and you need to be really relaxed in your psych test. So our psych test started. I completed my TAT went well, and my WAT I completed all the WAT that were there, and also SRTs I did nearly 55 SRTs. So it
Okay.
is important to do, but one thing you should be careful in your psych test is just don't go for the quantity. You should always work upon the quality as well, because I have seen students who have just done 36, 37 SRTs getting recommended, and I have seen students who have done 60 SRTs getting conference out. So
Yeah.
not just the number matters, quality also matters, but that does not mean that you are just doing 20 SRTs and saying I have written very good quality SRTs, बहुत
Yeah.
अच्छा solution लिखा है. That also should not happen. Like
Yes. Yes.
write at least 40, 45 SRTs. That is a normal,
Mhm.
but write sensible answers. Not like if somebody is pointing a gun at you and you write questions like you will snatch the gun away from him or something. You are not a karate champion or something who can do that.
Yes.
Write sensible things,
Yes.
but uh, work upon the quality as well.
Okay. And what about your GTO? Any memorable incident
So,
or any memorable experience from your GTO?
I think GTO is one of the most fun part in SSB
Yes,
itself.
exactly.
So, first thing about our GTO was that we were a special batch actually in whole the NDA, because in our 149th course, it is the first time that in Air Force Board also GOR race is included. Before that,
Okay,
GOR
okay.
was not included in any of the Air Force boards. So that
All
is
right.
one thing that we were all very excited that कुछ भी हो GOR तो जीतना ही है, first batch है
Yeah.
हमारा तो. Then we all had a very funny slogan as well that 2.5 किलो का हाथ है जीत हमारे साथ है was our slogan. So our GT
अरे
was
वाह.
also very impressed with our slogan. So that made it actually popular among the GTOs that कैसा group है ये क्या slogan रखा है अब. So and another thing about my GTO group was that 9 people were there in my group. Six of them we were friends before we came to SSB only. Like we have known each other for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So
Six
that was a
and
plus
all
point
you
in
six
my
were in
GTO.
the same group.
Yeah,
All you six were in
luckily
the
we
same group.
all six were in the same group.
What a
So
coincidence.
that was a really big plus point for me as well. I will say
Yeah.
because of that we didn't have any fish market anywhere. Like in the complete G2, it went so smoothly. Like everybody was giving their ideas, everybody was supporting each other's ideas, everybody wanted to move forward and taking the group
Mm.
forward. We completed all four of our PGTs
Yeah.
in the given allotted time. We were
All
also able
right.
to complete our HGT as well in the given allotted time.
Big
So
achievement.
GT was, yeah, what
And
ma'am?
what about GD? What about GD? Like in GD, generally after GD, GTO says that it is the I couldn't understand anything, and you guys created it a fish market. How was the reaction of
So
GTO? As you mentioned that you
that
all six were
that again
cooperating a
was
lot.
a that again was the exception in our group because the only line GTO said was that I'm really impressed. This is the
Mhm.
like there was no pressure. I was able to understand everything you said. This type
Yeah,
of thing that the GTO said. He was actually impressed by. We could see by his face that yeah, he's happy with our performance. Now,
yes.
as you asked some of the funny incidents in GTO tasks, so one of not in my group, so there was nothing funny. Like everyone was going well only. But in other groups, something like this was there are people who have not prepared anything for SSB, so they listened to the rule, but they did not pay attention to what the GTO was actually saying. So that only that either so the Rassi fake rate type of thing was going on. And in one of the command tasks, what happened that there were two obstacles and the person who was doing who was the commander, he didn't had any idea. So what he did, he just tied a rope between the two obstacle and he was forcing a subordinate ki gentleman now, walk on the road and go. This type of things
Walk
are
over the
going on,
road.
obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
So, so that is what funny things obviously happen in GT all time.
All right. And now moving to your interview, how was it? How long did it go? First of all, tell me.
So my interview was exceptionally short. It lasted for only 25-30 minutes,
All
that
right.
30 minutes being the maximum time. So there was nothing much. I don't even like people usually say that interview में इतना grill किया वगैरह. Nothing like that
Uh,
actually happened, which luckily
so there was no question which you found tricky.
nothing actually tricky. One place only, matlab, there was just one question that went a bit longer than the other question. That was regarding what would I do if I not don't get selected in NDA. So I was
Hmm.
actually already had this in my mind that something might like this might come. So he asked me, what if you don't get selected in NDA? So I said, sir, TS और नीवी टेक करूँगा. सर नहीं नहीं
Yeah.
उसमें भी नहीं हो रहा है. मैंने बोला सर ग्रेजुएशन करूँगा सर फिर CDS FCAT आई विल गो फॉर CDS FCAट. बोला उसमें भी नहीं हो रहा है. तो मैंने बोला सर
ये मैं आ
वो नहीं हो रहा है
जाऊंगा.
तो हाँ फिर हाँ TGC वगैरह ये सब ट्राई करूँगा. यूईएस एंट्री स्कीम SSC टेक है इस सब में जाऊँगा. बोला अरे नहीं नहीं डिफेंस ही नहीं हो रहा है. ही वॉज ऑल्सो लाइक फेड अप कि यार ये क्या है सुन ही नहीं रहा है समझ नहीं रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. तो आफ्टर दैट आई सेड वॉट एवर सी ग्रेजुएशन करूँगा बीटेक करूँगा आई
Yeah,
विल
but that
ट्राई फॉर
answer
सिविल
shows
सर्विसेज
the
और समथिंग.
motivation. But that answer
Yeah,
shows the
actually,
motivation you have
that is
for this.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere that is a bit important. Like one
Hmm.
of your answers should at least show ki, हाँ, how dedicated you are to join the defense services. Somewhere
Yes.
the dedication must be reflected. Why? Because some students are there, they will like if the some interviewing officer simply ask that
Hmm.
if not NDA then what? They just hear
Yeah.
not NDA then they just say sir graduation करूँगा गवर्नमेंट जॉब करूँगा कोई दूसरा. So
Yeah.
समवेयर इंटरव्यूइंग अफसर के भी दिमाग में आता है कि सरकारी नौकरी के लिए आ रहा है बस. इसलिए
Yeah.
लाइक फेमसली सेड इन इंटरव्यूइंग अफसर दैट सरकारी दामाद बनने आ रहा है बस और कुछ नहीं इसको
अच्छा.
और कुछ नहीं चाहिए बस डिफरेंस है. So that is one
Okay.
of the things.
Hmm. All right. I have got one more question, Abhay. And this question
Yeah.
is asked very often from me as well. Even yesterday, I got this question. A candidate asked me, कि दीदी मेरी handwriting अच्छी नहीं है. Does it matter in SSP?
So the only thing I would say about handwriting is it should be legible. The psychologist should be able to read what you are writing. Like ऐसा
Hmm.
कुछ इतना भी खराब नहीं होना चाहिए था कि he would be confused what you have written like it is written best or bad. इतना भी खराब नहीं होना चाहिए but handwriting can be improved. Just make it
Yeah.
legible. That is more than enough.
All right. And what about language? Do you feel that if you are fluent in English, that gives you edge over other candidates?
So I would say just being fluent in English does not mean that you are good at communicating with others.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
being bad at English does not mean that you are not good at communicating with others.
Hmm.
So first thing is that you should know. Every person knows that I am able to tell the person in front of me what I am thinking or not. If you are
Yeah.
not able to tell, then work upon it. Communicate well. Join some courses. Practice English at
Hmm.
home. Talk to your parents and all. And yes, English as a language is obviously important because in all the tasks, the officer,
You
the
have
assessor
to speak
himself
in
says
English
that
only. Yeah.
yeah, so English as a language is obviously important, but as a mode of communication also it is important, but not that much important. Means if you don't know
Hmm.
English that much well, but you are able to communicate well, then you will surely make it through. But if you know English
Yeah.
like you can speak in American accent as well, but you are not able to communicate what you are thinking,
Yes.
then there is no
Yes.
use. So
Exactly. Exactly. But then GTU and IU also they say that you can switch to Hindi if you are not if you are not comfortable, but switch back to English as soon as possible. So
yeah,
when you don't have words to pour your ideas, you can speak in Hindi, but get back to English.
yes.
All right. And one more thing is there which I would like to ask you, where we all meet some or the other fellow who is very clumsy, जो कुछ ना कुछ वहाँ पे करता ही है अजीब सा. So did you also
Yeah.
encounter any of such candidate there?
So in my first SSB, I did inquire in such fellow because he was a bit like a person who was going first time out of home and who did not know actually what was happening in SSB. So
Okay.
he was always a bit stressed about it. Like धोबी आएगा तो या ही इज ऑल्सो असेसर, अटेंडेंट आया ये भी असेसर है, असेसर को रिपोर्ट कर रहा है. लाइक व्हाट थिंग हैपेंड वाज कि वी in the evening time we are given tea. So some in the morning briefing they told that wearing chest number is compulsory for going anywhere inside. So what
Yes.
happened that he went without chest number and वो मतलब बंदा था वो नाम लिख रहा था ऐसे ही. तो उसको लगा वो बंदा उन लोगों का नाम लिख रहा है जिन्होंने चेस्ट नंबर नहीं पहना है, एंड ही गॉट ऑल स्कैर्ड कि यार उसने मेरे को देख लिया, नाम लिख दिया, अब मेरा क्या होगा. वी आर लाइक अरे कोई इशू नहीं है. व्हेन आई वेंट टू हिम एंड आई आस्क्ड दैट व्हाट ही इज राइटिंग, ही वाज एक्चुअली राइटिंग कि वेज हो या नॉन वेज हो, ताकि उस हिसाब से हम खाना प्रिपेयर करें.
All right.
So that kind of thing happens. But in this attempt, obviously there was no such fellow in my group. Other group there was, in the next group also there was one fellow. He was like shouting at his group like you are group of idiots and bunch of like that in GTO task
Oh,
and all.
did you?
So then our
You were
fellow,
shouting.
yeah, no, he was shouting himself on his group only. That
Oh
gentlemen,
my
you are
God.
idiots.
Oh,
You are like this, like that. So that was
oh
also going
God.
on.
Yes, this happens. Many candidates have got this perception that everybody out there is judging you. You're being tested each and
Yeah,
every place. And some try to dominate, as you told that you were shouting, "Are you guys idiots? Gentlemen, are you idiots?" Yeah, this
yeah.
happens.
So that is nowhere adding a plus point. And one thing that I learned in AFPA was that they told me that the only place you are being tested, and assessors also tell this, that only place you are being tested is your testing hall. Nowhere else you are being tested. So you should enjoy freely and मतलब you should like calm down a bit. Like ऐसा नहीं पूरा टाइम प्रेशर में चल रहे कि यार भाई बैडमिंटन
Yeah.
में भी जीतना है मेरे को, यार असेसर के सामने प्लस पॉइंट आएगा, अगर बैडमिंटन में हार गया तो क्या होगा मेरा. लाइक दैट शुड नॉट बी देयर. एंजॉय करने
Yeah.
के लिए खेलो यार.
मतलब हाँ खेल रहे हो शाम को फ्री टाइम में तो उसमें भी जीतना है हाँ फर्स्ट ही आना
हाँ
है
वही. तो सम पीपल कम विद दैट मेंटेलिटी कि हाँ लाइक वी वर हैविंग अ
उसी को
गेम ऑफ
बेस्ट
बैडमिंटन
करना
एंड
है
स्टूडेंट्स वर लाइक फाइटिंग कि भाई नहीं यार शटल कॉक है ना लाइन के अंदर गिरी थी, एंड सम वर सेइंग नहीं भाई बाहर गिरी थी. लाइक दैट फाइट वाज गोइंग ऑन.
ओके
वी वर लाइक एक पॉइंट से क्या फर्क पड़ेगा.
यस ऑल राइट
Yes.
and any memorable incident which you feel you will never forget because we all know that we get lifetime memories from SSB. So any
Yeah.
incident or any experience that you will cherish forever?
So the first incident in this particular SSB was that me getting quarantined. Actually, I got very popular in all the batch because I was the first person to be getting quarantined in that Air Force Board, first SSB in that particular NDA batch, 149th course. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody knew me. हाँ भाई चेस्ट नंबर 56 है, उसको कोविड के लिए क्वारंटाइन कर रखा है. हो I didn't even have
Wow.
COVID. My test was negative. The
Okay.
doctor who was there, he had told कि इसको अलग रूम में सुलाओ ताकि इसके रूम वालों को जुकाम ना हो. That's what he meant. But who the attendant with me, he thought that इसको क्वारंटाइन करना है because डॉक्टर ने कोविड टेस्ट लिया था. तो मेरे को क्वारंटाइन कर दिया पर एक दिन के लिए. नेक्स्ट दिन लेके गए मेरे को डॉक्टर के पास कि सर इसका इंटरव्यू है आज, इसको क्वारंटाइन कर रखा है हमने, क्या करना है इसका. तो डॉक्टर वाज लाइक इसको क्वारंटाइन करने के लिए बोला किसने था. So that's what my first day went like that. तो
Okay.
आप आई वाज मतलब नेम सेक के लिए क्वारंटाइन था, बाकी तो वही कस्टमर अपना अंदर रख देता था, किसी और का कस्टमर उठा लिया वो पहन लिया खेल लिए वापस आ गए.